opening the door. Excellent. Recording in progress. That's what we like to hear. Hello, everyone. I think I can see you all coming into the Zoom room. Let's make sure. Are you here? People can start saying hello in the chat if you want to. No need to, but an open invitation. Yes, hello, Karen. Thank you for starting us off. So we know people are here, or at least Karen is here saying hello. Hello. Excellent. Hello. All the different ways to greet each other. We're just going to give everyone a moment to get in. Y'all can settle in with your tea or whatever time of day it might be for you. And we're going to get to the session in just a minute. Oh, this is a very broad group of hellos, salutations, greetings, good evenings. Excellent. Good. It's like I always know I'm in the room with a lot of writers when there's a lot of vocabulary happening in the chat. All right, so let's get started. Hello, everyone. I'm Katie Freeman, and on behalf of Mystery Writers of America, welcome to MWA University 2025. If you haven't had a chance to join previous MWA-U presentations and conversations, you can find those links to the sessions at Mystery Writers of America's website under the Education tab, and I'll try to drop that in the chat. And today we'll be talking about unlocking the power of mentorship with MWA board members Anne Laughlin and Melissa MacGregor. They will dive into the details of MWA's relaunched mentorship program, a valuable member benefit that connects less experienced writers with seasoned professionals for guidance on navigating the business side of writing. So we'll talk about outline the logistics of the program, highlight the benefits for both mentors and mentees, and share some practical tips to maximize that relationship. I'm going to start with introductions of our excellent presenters. Anne Laughlin was born and raised in Chicago, a city that often serves as a setting for her novels. She has written 7 books for Bold Strokes Books, all standalone crime novels of the classic mystery, police procedural, and psychological thriller variety. She is the winner of 4 Goldie Awards from the Golden Crown Literary Society and has been shortlisted 3 times for a Lammy Award from the Lambda Literary Foundation. She was awarded the Alice B. Medal in 2022 for excellence in lesbian fiction. She has written many published short stories, and recently her story Swan Club was featured in Crime Inc. Iconic, a new anthology of queer crime writing. Anne is currently a board member of Mystery Writers of America, and she also writes reviews for the Gay and Lesbian Review. She also volunteers to teach adults to read at Literacy Chicago, and she is currently at work on her 8th mystery. Anne lives in Chicago with her wife, Linda Brosh. I hope I pronounced Linda's name right.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. And I'll drop more about Anne's work in the chat as well. And Melissa MacGregor was born in Dallas, although much of her childhood was spent in Scotland, where she fell in love with all things Edinburgh. Upon her return to Texas, she wrote a weekly article for her hometown's newspaper, serializing the happenings within her high school, which I find fascinating. A graduate of Stephen F. Austin State University, she attended law school long enough to realize that writing was her true passion, though she has been regularly hired by law firms to investigate potential criminal activity. She has conducted extensive online searches on sex offenders, drug traffickers, and white supremacy groups, and reported them to the U.S. Marshals, all from her desk where she writes dark, twisted tales, including her debut novel, The Curious Steambox Affair. She has a deep love of history and an undying appreciation of sports. Her heart is divided between a small town near Dallas, where she lives in a 100-year-old farmhouse inherited from her grandparents, and an even smaller village at the foot of the Scottish Highlands, both of which always welcome her home. And you can find out more about her at her website as well. We'll begin with Melissa introducing the programming and the mentorship program and what a benefit it is for members, and then we'll turn to more details with Anne. So take it away, Melissa.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry I have to put my glasses because age is happening. All right. Thank everybody for coming tonight, and we're really glad you're here. The purpose of mentorship is where I'm kind of starting here. We really see it as cultivating professional growth of the mentee and sharing knowledge with a more experienced mentor. What we're interested in here overall is creating what we consider a bedrock of community the concept, if you think of the concept of sharing ideas and then like idyllic small town, or like that world really no longer exists. People talking over picket fence, talking about what your job skills are, talking about what you things you could help others with. We don't meet at a diner. We can't. There's no way that we can sit and talk about what our careers are, what we've been through, give and give help. So what we want to do is set up that kind of world that doesn't exist. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dog in the background. He's joining us apparently. It's easier to avoid pitfalls if you have a mentor. If you have someone you can talk to and you can say, look, I don't know how to handle this. I don't know have you been through this situation? Talk to me about it. That just makes it a lot easier. And that's just something we think about. Mistakes can be avoided, topics thought through. That's the goal of a mentorship program. A lot of things can be missed if you just have someone to talk to about it, or someone that's been through something, or say, hey, I haven't even thought of that idea yet, but let me talk to you about different ways to do it. Writing is such a solitary career. We all know this. All of us, it's a chance to step away from that. All of us, they're writers, and as you all know, we all live with imaginary friends in our head. We sit and we write all the time. And like a lot of people outside of the business don't understand what we do. They just don't. They're like, okay, you have people talking in your head and you're putting them on paper. You don't have to explain that to people in our industry. So if we could get together and match and have people in our industry help us with the problems we know we have within the industry, yeah, you can't beat it. You can't go and talk to people outside the industry necessarily and know what they'll know what you're talking about. Well, that's what we're setting up here. People knowing what you're talking about and people that can help you achieve it. You can seek guidance. You can give guidance all the time, knowing where each other comes from. And I just think that's absolutely invaluable. What we're thinking here is that the mentee can sharpen their work skills, advance themselves professionally, create a sense of networking, and again, building a bedrock of what we all hope you have a long and satisfying career. Well, let's do everything we can, to make that happen. For a mentor, we're hoping that you see as a chance for leadership, give it a sense of giving back what has been given to you in the past, helping out the growth of our industry, and you'll get a fresh look at new publishing ideas. New questions bring new ideas. There's just no two ways about it. And I know that our program here is originally it was formed by Lindsay Fay, did most of the program building here. Anne's a program administrator. Teresa Kane spearheaded this too, and I believe Joanna Schaffhausen is coming on to help as well. So we've really built this up. We're bringing it back, and really trying to set up a place where people can work together to forward everyone's careers. Really, Anne, you ready, Anne?
Oh, I'm ready. Yeah, I just want to emphasize that this is a huge member benefit, and that's why this has been brought back. It's a resurrection of a once very popular program with MWA that went dormant, and we're very excited to have it back live. And the response we've been getting so far shows that there's a hunger for it. We've already gotten 50 mentees signed up and 30 mentors signed up. And that was just from our first announcement of the program. So there's a real hunger out there from people wanting help with specific business questions, the murky business of writing. And there's a real desire, I think, for our more experienced writers to share what they know and to continue to build the community of writers, to be able to give back to community just as they learned from writers more experienced than they were when they were younger. So it's just a win-win kind of situation. The program itself is not overly complicated. So I'll just kind of run through some of the steps of the program. And if you've already signed up, you've already gone through several of them. But if you're interested in being either a mentor or a mentee, and I'll give you like a good example of something a mentee might want help with. Like say you've just published your first book and you want to do a social media campaign and you have no idea how to kick that off. So you don't know what platforms to use, you don't know how to connect platforms, you don't know how to be personal without being too personal. Um, all of those questions which are interconnecting and in this day and age so essential for a publicity campaign. There's somebody among our membership who's volunteering to mentor, who's going to be able to advise you and allow you to take a step-by-step approach to doing a successful social media campaign. And that's worth a lot. That's gold for somebody who's never done that before. So we've got a lot of riches out there. So if you're interested in anything like that, you would go to the website, and Katie has placed the website addresses into the chat so you can pick those up there. But as many of you have already done, you fill out a form, and that form will allow you to be specific about what your question is and what areas you're looking to get help on. And if you're a mentor, what areas of expertise you have where you're able to lend help to these mentees. You'll fill out a form, and the program administrator will then, that's me, that will then send you out some welcoming information along with some guidelines on your what you can expect from being in the program. And these will just answer some basic questions for you, like how long is my commitment in this relationship with the mentor or mentee? And the answer to that is 3 months, for instance. The next step is to match the mentor and the mentee. And we have, the information that is on the forms is funneled into 2 spreadsheets, one for mentors and one for mentees. And from those spreadsheets, we match the 2 together. We match mentors with mentees. And I got to tell you, right now, that's a massive job because we have 50 mentees and 30 mentors. And there's a lot of information on those spreadsheets to go through before we can make good matches. We want to make matches that make sense and are effective. And so we're asking people to be patient.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. We're going to ask for some patience because we really want to make it a good fit. We want everyone to succeed. And that's what MWA really is about. We want people to succeed. We want the more success everybody can have, the better for everybody. So we've got to take some time to make sure you guys are the best people are working together. And also I wanted to back up with something Ann was saying. If you're going to be a mentor, think about if you're thinking about it, we'd love for you to do it. You don't have to be good at everything. If you're good at one thing, come and share it. If you're good at a couple of things, come and share it. You don't have to think, oh, I'm not an expert in anything. Look, if you are really, really great at writing a query letter or something like that, and like editors or agents always look at your query letters, come help somebody that needs a little help with that. Or like she says, social media. Don't think you have to be like the expert on every single thing, because no one is. And or if you are, please come. We want
letters are very popular.
Right.
Yeah, that's a popular one.
Okay, I interrupted. I'm sorry, Ann. Yeah.
Oh no, that's good. So yeah, just a little patience in this initial run through of getting people matched together. And then once we catch up with that going forward, we'll be able to stay on top of these requests. The relationship runs for 3 months, though it can continue at the discretion of the 2 people in that relationship. So if they're working on a project, or the mentee has another question and the mentor agrees to continue working with this new question, they're certainly free to continue to do so. But at the end of that 3 months, I'll notify them that that term is up, and then they can make that kind of decision. The program administrator is always available for questions if anything comes up during that time. And that's kind of it for the bare bones of what the
One of the things that
how the program operates.
Yeah, one of the things that Ann and I talked about for a long, long time, and we talked about with Teresa and we talked about with everyone involved, is the safety of this too. We want everyone safe in this. I mean all of us. We don't want anyone in an abusive relationship here. We don't want anyone to be, you can be even talking about hard issues in your mentorship programs. These can be things you talk about, but as long as people are kind to each other, we don't want this to be a big bully session or anything offensive like that. And if there is, please contact us as soon as you can, because we just don't want that. This needs to be something, like I said, a small town that doesn't exist anymore. It's what I see it as, a world that doesn't exist anymore, where people can really help each other. And if it turns into a bully kind of thing, then that's just tacky, and I don't, that's gross. No thanks. And so if you can just
it's not that we've had much experience of that happening.
Right. We haven't, but I'm just thinking ahead. I'm thinking ahead. We haven't even had that. But if worst case scenario that happened, please contact. But I just really think that the best way to absolutely maximize what you can do here is to, if you're a mentee, is what I was thinking about, focus on what your issues are, focus on and also don't be embarrassed to say, hey, I need help with this. I mean, we're all, like I said, in the same industry, we're all doing the same thing. People don't understand us outside in the real world. They don't. So people understand us here. And don't be afraid to say, hey, I need help. Well, writing a query letter or social media or what do I do in an interview session or anything like that. Figure out what your issues are and make the most of your 3 months. Talk about don't waste it with extra stuff or stuff you think you need to ask. Ask the stuff you want the answers to. Ask the stuff you think these people can help you with. And it's like this. When I was in college, I was a history and English major and not a math person at all. And I had to go get a math tutor to get through my little required course that I had to take. And so I got a math tutor. And what worked for me was I did all my homework. And then I only had limited amount of time with this tutor. I did all my homework. And then we just did the problems I couldn't do. Those are the ones that we concentrate on. So figure out what problems you can't do. Use your time wisely. Get it done. That's my little soapbox for everybody.
Yeah, we're going to come to that, kind of some suggestions on how to make the most of the program itself. I just wanted to talk a little bit about what the benefits are of participating in the program. And we mentioned a few of these in passing, but let's start with for the mentor. And, I think it's safe to say that for the mentor, it's the benefit of mentoring is the same as the benefit for all volunteering, and that's the satisfaction that comes with helping people. And it's pretty well known that when you help people, you kind of get back as much as you are giving to another person, that it feels as good to you as it does to the other person, and it's equally as rewarding. And I think on top of that, there's the importance of helping our writing community and building community. I mean, we all, as younger writers starting out, got the benefit of help from more experienced writers as we became part of writing communities. And the only way those writing communities thrive and continue to grow is by people lending a hand to other writers. So doing your part to continue that is really important just for continuity's sake and, to feel like you're doing your part. And I think that's one of the greatest rewards. And, I think making a deeper connection with another writer is always a good thing. I mean, for mentees, it's clear that you get really superb advice for an excellent price, which is free. And, you have a chance to start connecting with community, which is not an easy thing to do when you're starting out. Making a connection with another writer who is more connected than you are is the start of making connections yourself. And I'm not saying to expect that your mentor is going to start introducing you around. I wouldn't expect that, but you'll probably hear some stories. You might start to get to know about some people that you've heard of, and it's just the beginning. It's a little entryway into knowing more about other writers, writers that you possibly could get to know. And it's a way of getting to know about the workings of the business side of writing, because that's what writers talk about a lot when they're talking to each other.
I saw
So
over here on the chat, and I'm going to grab some from the chat, Katie, if that's okay, because JD Horn, you nailed it. JD Horn says, I mentored a few folk for HWA back when still writing horror paranormal. I always had pleasant experiences with the mentees. And Katie asked it, well, y'all can read it, but I love this. This is succinct. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And you said it beautifully. Be kind, set expectations, have measurable goals. Remember what it's like to be starting out, but be honest too. That is thank you. Yes.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's talk about some practical tips that maximize the mentor-mentee relationship. And one of those is one of the things a mentor can do for a mentee that really helps the relationship be effective and the most beneficial to the mentee is to help shape the question and pare it down to something that is actually attainable.
Yes.
Yeah, a complicated multi-sentenced request needs to be pared down so that it's like, what can we accomplish? At least let's start with this one thing, and maybe we can move on later to these other things, but what's attainable first? And understandably, a mentee might not know how to break these things down, but the more experienced mentor does. And I think that's a first, one of the first things to do. And, another practical tip is the mentee needs to really be aware of the value of the mentor's time. So, consolidate your emails. Don't, every time you have a thought in your head, don't write an email to your mentor. Just consolidate them into periodic emails. Don't expect instant replies. Give
Patience is
briefing.
key. Patience is key on this whole thing.
Yeah, patience is key, and allow them time to have a life and get back to you when they can. Um, let's see. Sometimes a mentee will have a document that they want the mentor to look at. As a rule of thumb, we're saying don't give the mentor documents that are more than 5 pages because it can quickly become cumbersome. So we just are making that kind of
we're not doing the full manuscript stuff. It's not a critique group. It's a
and these are
mentorship.
not.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that's one thing I wanted to make clear to everyone about this. We've mentioned that this has to do with the business of writing, and to be crystal clear, that means this program, this relationship between mentor and mentee, is not meant to have anything to do with the craft of writing. So when you're asking your mentor for help, this is not editorial. It's not for them to look over your first chapter and see if it's, if it's any good. It's not to give a manuscript review to see if it's ready to go to an agent. It has nothing to do with the quality of your writing. It's simply to do with the business of
Yeah,
writing.
it's industry based. It's the well, one of the topics that we listed in the application
Yeah,
is how to shop an e-publisher. My publisher and editor change. Should I panic? These kind of things. Transitioning into self-publishing, some topic. We've talked about the query letter, choosing an agent. You can ask those kind of questions, or navigating a book to film. These kind of things.
right.
Things like that. It's not going to be like, hey, can you help me get my story arc to where this is going to make some kind of
The
sense.
whole different
We're all
kettle of
struggling with
fish.
that.
And in fact, MWA is going to have a program like that. If they don't already, I don't think they actually have one up and running now, but they plan to. So those will be two very separate things. So we're going to be looking at that when we're going through those spreadsheets. And, we'll be contacting mentees who are asking for editorial advice, and that's just not appropriate for this program. If a disagreement or some kind of uncomfortable thing happens between mentor and mentee, just as we mentioned before, get hold of me.
Yeah, and we don't intend for that to happen. We don't think that's going
No,
to
and
happen.
it doesn't
But
really
most of our
happen.
first meetings, I'm like, I always think of the very worst case scenario, and to me, that's the worst case scenario is someone getting their love of the industry killed because of some wayward comment. And you can't control wayward comment, but you can control your attitude on both sides, mentor and mentee. And that's just the worst case scenario, the very worst thing I could think of. Very unlikely, but
anyway, yeah, the program administrator will terminate or the relationship or something. So no one has to sit in discomfort.
yeah.
Um, And then, there's a lot to be said for both parties giving positive feedback. The mentee should certainly give thanks for what they're receiving, and the mentor can give positive feedback for a job well done by the mentee, and that's just common good relationship practice. Um,
I like it too because I think you said something I'm touching on it, and we're getting to know each other better. And this
yeah.
is a great way to get to know each other better, and a great way to help each other out, and to be a stronger bond between the members of MWA makes MWA stronger. It's just a win-win all the way around,
Mhm.
or so I think.
Those are really the elements of the program and the structure of the program. It's not complex. Um, and each relationship is going to be different. The structure is basically the same for everyone, but it's going to be wildly different among all of these individual relationships, which is fun. And, we're around always for any questions. And, I think we could go to questions if anyone has any.
Yeah. Oops, sorry,
Oh, you're
Melissa.
good. You're good.
I was just going to say, yes, if others have questions, we'll just take a quick look at one about how people find out if they've already signed up. If you don't remember if you had, which is a question that speaks to me. So,
Probably
Yeah.
I know
choose
that,
an
yeah.
email. I mean, is there a way they can contact us, and
Yeah, if my email should appear in well, if you didn't sign up, you wouldn't necessarily have my email, but
yeah.
maybe you could put my email in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah,
Annie,
I've also dropped the links to volunteer to be a mentor and to request a mentor. So if you don't remember if you've had, you also could possibly go back to the link too, and sign up
well,
again. And let me grab. I'm happy to put your email in the chat as well.
she could just email me and I'll look it up and let her know as opposed to filling out that form again. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that someone had asked about this is the relaunch of the mentorship program, and someone had
Mhm.
asked about why it might have gone dormant. And I don't know that we need to have an answer to that, but I just want to underscore how much work it is to do this. It's an amazing benefit for MWA members, and it's an amazing gift from the mentors who are volunteering for this work.
yes.
I don't know.
And
I don't know
so
why it went dormant. I don't know, but I would assume it's because of the stuff I'm looking at and how much work it is. But we're determined. We are determined. So
it's really
yeah.
a lot, and it's amazing to have your work dedicated to pairing mentors and mentees well also. And that was a question that came up as well. That thank you, Michael, for realizing it's an arduous process. Um,
I
but
agree
what
with Lois Crockett. It is like herding cats. 100%. It is like herding cats. Yes, I feel seen, and I know Anne feels seen with that.
absolutely. Um, I Michael had asked about the expected timing for pairing mentors and mentees, which I know Tom has that question as well. Is there a timeline for when mentor and mentees will be paired up?
Well, I did get somebody to join me in the process. So I would say within 3 to 4 weeks and maybe sooner. But I'm telling you, it's a big job. I would love to say that it would be 2 weeks, but as a practical matter, I can't devote 5 or 6 hours a day to it. It's just
Oh, why not? And why not?
there's too much of my
What
own
you have a career too? What? What?
life.
Let's
And you
we
know
should
what? Once I
perhaps.
get going, it might be quicker than I am anticipating.
Oh, I find very few things in life are quicker than we anticipate.
Right,
So
right.
I was
I
going to say
know.
actually that people perhaps to say that people will hear by November 1st,
Yeah.
about 6 weeks from now feels like, possible timing. I wondered if you might speak a little bit more on, the number of things that people could have questions about regarding the business of writing are so extensive, and ranging from kind of that beginning, like a query letter, to if you're thinking about a social media strategy, if you've given a lot of different examples of what that might look like. I know you can to thinking about what question you really want help with, and then maybe from that question others come. Um, how do you suggest that mentees kind of bring up the different things that they might have as questions? Is it good to kind of focus on a first one, and then see what else is possible with your mentor, because everyone also has different areas of expertise as well.
Yeah, I think it's better to start with one than a laundry list. Um, because yeah, I mean, just as a practical matter, you need to do one at a time. And if it's a simple, if it's a relatively straightforward one, you can clearly do more than one in 3 months.
Yeah,
But
that goes along with like ranking. What's the most important? What's bothering you the most? What are you the most confused about? I mean, there's so many pitfalls in that we all. I mean, some people have managed to do better than others. But what are you most afraid of, or what are you most curious about? And then you can have other issues, but start with what's important. Is what I would think.
yeah, I mean, you can even show your mentor what the list is, but just with this is the top one. And
Right.
then after that, these are some of the other things that I'd like to address in order, or as we get to them in this 3 months, but with some kind of prioritization.
And Anne, you've given again some great examples, Melissa as well, about what those questions might be. Just to kind of bring up a few of them, thinking about publicists, agents, social media, publisher transitions or questions, starting out, going on tour, other types of media, other ways that you might be thinking about how to get your work out into the world. Um, uh,
Research,
Sorry, say again.
research.
Research, absolutely. Um,
Mhm.
And just thanking Ruth in the chat, I think the what are you most afraid of is a great way to think about the question or need. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's
That's how I
something
do
to
it.
even think
Everything.
about.
And
Oh,
everything with me in my own publishing journey has been, I mean, I started off, I didn't know anyone in the publishing industry when I got published. I mean, when my book came out, my editor and I congratulated each other. That was it. She was all I knew. And I know a lot more people now, and it's been a wonderful experience. But from that first time, I just would think, okay, I'm learning everything blind, and that's what I don't want for other people. I don't want that. I want people to have resources that I didn't have at that time period. And I also think that for me, the breakdown was, what am I the most afraid of? What am I the most nervous of? Let me address that first. And that's what's worked. So I hope it applies to others.
I find also that the question, what am I most confused by, can lead
Mm-hmm. Right.
in some helpful directions to kind of tease out what you might want to focus on, first or the most. Um, and you also mentioned sort of in your notes about the program, honor confidentiality. And I wondered if you might
Yes.
talk a little bit about that. Like,
Yes.
what is, the relationship between the mentor and mentee, both the confidentiality part of it, and then separately, how people might decide whether they would like to continue or whether they're able to continue on past that 3 months of a match.
Yeah, confidentiality, I think it's just a good rule to not pass along anything that your mentor or the mentee, I guess, would any story they tell you, and any joke or story they tell you about another writer, just don't repeat it. That it might not be anything harmful or really gossipy in nature, but you never know how something's going to land.
We're trying to
And
establish trust. You
yeah,
have to establish some kind of trust between the two of
and you
y'all.
really wouldn't want to embarrass
Right.
the other person in that relationship.
And there needs to
So
be some
yeah,
level of comfort talking to each other, and you need to be comfortable with each other. And if, just
yeah,
keep everything to yourself with a person, if
yeah,
tell you a fun story or something.
right. I mean, writers gossip. There's just no question about it. But don't be one of them, I guess. I mean, because the mentor-mentee relationship is pretty intimate, compared to, talking with a writer at the bar, you want to be particularly careful. And in terms of continuing the relationship beyond the 3-month mark, I think that's just dependent on circumstances. If you've got that laundry list and you've made some headway on it, but you still have things left on the list, and you have a good working relationship with between the two of you, there's no reason not to continue if you're both willing. The mentor might think, that's really all I signed up for, and I need to move on.
But if you
Um,
guys become best friends, we're not going to say no. You can't. You only have 3 month window. Forget it.
yeah, yeah, it's really going to be an individual decision. I think in a good many cases, there will be no more issues that they need to address at the time, and then it will naturally end even before that 3 months, maybe after 2 weeks. So it's just circumstance based.
I also agree with Lori. Is Lori Crockett showing my eyes? Yes, Lori Crockett. No religion or politics here. And I think that's start off there. That's perfect. I agree. I mean, if you guys want to have religious and political discussions, do it when you're friends. Let's not make anyone uncomfortable for any
Right.
reason. You know, I
Oh,
agree.
yeah.
Mhm.
Thank
Good
you both.
idea.
And I appreciate that about what you said about the timing, that I feel like there's often an expectation of what does this look like beyond, but also there can be the knowledge that it could end earlier than 3 months,
Right.
not because it was also a successful pairing,
Yeah.
that a question was answered or a direction was discovered. So that's a good reminder as well. Uh,
Right.
we had one question in the Q&A about whether this is about the timing going forward of the program. Is it going to be a once a year program? Will it run several times a year? Do you know yet what it will look like? Sometimes with the relaunch, you have to kind of see your way on a timing front. But yeah, do you have a sense of that side of it?
As far as I understand it, this is a continuous program. So, people can sign up whenever they want, and we'll have a pool of, is this what you're talking about? Like, yeah, so, I mean, after this initial sign up, next week or next month or 2 months from now, whenever people will be signing up, mentees will be signing up, and we will be hopefully finding mentors to assign them to. So we'll just be continuing to go forward.
Oh, that's fantastic. So it'll be more of a rolling and continuous
Yes,
matching than
yeah,
a set period of time to sign
right.
up and apply.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the only danger I see is overloading mentors. So, we're gonna have to do more probably to recruit more mentors. Because we've already got a little lopsided thing going on with 50 mentees and 30 mentors. So, yeah, I mean, it might be in a situation where some mentees might have to wait a little bit. There's no guarantees here that we're going to be able to match people up right away, because we'll just be able to do the best we can.
but we'll get you. We will get you.
Yeah.
That's also a reminder to me to mention that active status MWA members may be mentors. So there's a link to sign up to be a mentor as well, and that any MWA member may be a mentee. And sorry, I'm just turning to another question. Is there any possibility of launching an editorial versus business mentoring program? This is the business. Do you know if there has been?
I've heard mention of it. I don't know any details. I just heard mention of it. So as far as I know, the answer is yes. But I don't know when or what it looks like.
And some of these are questions that I'm just going to encourage everyone to go to the website if you haven't, where you can explore all of the different options. I'm just going to drop that in the chat as well. All the different options and all the things that membership brings you. So if just a reminder to be a member and to take part in all those different possibilities. And sorry, I'm just seeing about beer, just making sure I
Yeah,
haven't
I like that. I agree with Tom. It would work for me. It would make everything, I mean, my organization would be a lot better if free beer was handed out, but
Yes, yes. And Tom was just mentioning about the New York chapter, who's done an editorial mentor program. So that also might be chapter by chapter.
Midwest did too.
yeah, I think there's a lot chapter wide editorial stuff. So I don't know if when I don't know details about that, but I do know that the chapter wide has some editorial programs.
Also there's a link on the website as well to all the regional chapters. So if you're not part of those conversations, you can find a way to join them as well. I'm just going to give one last open moment to anyone wanting to ask a question if you haven't had one answered yet, while at the same time mentioning that the next MWA-U gathering is on Wednesday, October 15th at 8 Eastern Time. And that's Achieve Success Writing Short Crime Fiction. I think I actually put the emphasis in the wrong parts of the words there. So I think I meant to say Achieve Success Writing Short Crime Fiction. There we go. And that's again, Wednesday, October 15th. You can find the link to sign up again at the website, which I'll drop here as well. And that's moderator Michael Bracken, and the panelists are Ashley Ruth Beniers, Erica Kraus, and Art Taylor. So that should be fabulous in just about a month. And yeah, I'm seeing, let's just take a quick look at this. We'll have follow up with those links. I'm pretty sure we'll look into that, getting those out to you. And again, these are all the links are all found on the website. Everything I shared was from the website, with the exception of Melissa and Anne's websites about their own work, which you should also go and visit
Yeah.
and
let's
get
do
their books if you haven't read them already.
that.
So I thought I wanted to close with asking both of you, if you've offered so much great information about the logistics, things to keep in mind, ways to make a mentor and mentee relationship work well. Is there one sort of most overriding idea for you about what makes a good mentor that you would like to, let's say, what makes a good mentor and what makes a good mentee, to kind of close us out?
Oh, that's a good question. I think for me, it kindness on both, and just kindness. If understanding that everyone, like the mentee doesn't know situations, and the mentor understanding that, and the mentee knowing that the mentor is giving something here, and so I just think that kindness, that's the most important thing for me.
Yeah, I think with a mentor, certainly kindness, um, certainly the willingness to be kind but honest,
Yeah.
so that you don't sacrifice actually helping the mentee in favor of sparing their feelings. So, you know, you have to just accept the fact that the mentee has to learn how to accept feedback, and that that's part of their process. So if you've learned how to deliver feedback in a humane way, that's part of your job to do. But it certainly can be done in a way to soften the blow.
Yeah,
But to not do that is to not do your job. And I
exactly.
think as a mentee, yeah, that's a really difficult lesson. But I remember the very first time I got feedback, you'd think I had been drawn and quartered. I was eviscerated. I was so upset. And I mean, it was the very first thing I wrote. Apparently, I thought it should be regarded as War and Peace,
It was. I
And
stand by that. It was.
yeah,
I didn't know you
and
then, or
somebody
I would have
said that
taken you
just
out for a
this,
coffee. It would have been, I would have been like, nope, nope, no ledge. Get off the ledge,
yeah.
Ann.
And now my skin is so thick compared to back then, and it has to be, because that's the only way you grow. It's the only way I could learn anything, is to have my skin be thick enough to actually hear what's being said to me. So the role of the mentee is to work on themselves enough to put their ego aside, at least long enough to hear how they can become a better writer,
Mm.
and to not resent their mentor for being honest with them.
It's just a beautiful concept. It's just giving what your knowledge is and being helped, and the beautiful balance of that, and it just makes us stronger, and it makes us know each other, and I really appreciate that, I think.
Well, and I think that's a great, I just want to acknowledge Tammy's question in the Q&A about, were either you or anyone here terrified when your first book was getting published? Tammy's self-publishing next month and is very scared. And I'll just say personally, after 25 years of working with writers, there's not been a writer I know who has felt completely calm, cool, and collected as they've come towards their publication date. So absolutely. And I think, Melissa, you talked about community at the beginning of our conversation.
Yes, and Tammy,
That's,
congratulations, first of all.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we're very,
yeah.
very excited about that. And you're not alone. Every person I know, I mean, like I said, I knew no one when I started this. I thought, I mean, when my book came out, I went to bed and I laid in fetal position and I had pillows all around me and everything. And my family was calling me and I was like, no, 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 don't want to talk. But everyone feels that way, even if they're not doing that. So you're not alone. And that's what this is about, and we're glad you're here, and congratulations.
And just remember how brave you are to put your creative work out in the world. Like, very few people are brave enough to do that.
Mhm.
And with bravery comes sometimes some difficulty. Yeah. So waiting for that first Amazon review is hard, and sometimes reading a difficult Amazon review is really hard, but the rewards are there and you'll get them.
Well, and Tammy says, thank you. I love my writing community. So I
Yay.
really like having that community. Melissa, as you said, acting from a place of kindness. I just want to share two last things from the Q&A sorry, not the Q&A, from the chat, that sometimes publishing is like having a baby and becoming a new parent, the differences between those. Like you're thrilled to bit, as Louise says, and then, oh my God, what do I do now?
Exactly. Yeah.
Sarah
Yeah.
shared,
Well, send it back. Yeah.
yes, yes.
I
Sarah
changed my
shared
mind.
a very, I just can imagine this happening, that sending in a manuscript is like mailing off your stomach,
Yeah.
no matter how many
Well,
times
it's a
you've
piece
done
of
it.
you. You have been alone. You have done this. This is all yours. Your imaginary friends. But it's not just that. It's your time. It's your soul. It's embarrassing. Like when my uncle read my book for the first time, he was like, "Wow, it's really you. That was really you put it all out there." And he goes, "I felt scared for you because it was all out there." And I was like, "I know. I mean, but that's a weird feeling." And
And that's why community matters so much. And again, Melissa, as you said, operating from a place of kindness, and Anne, about thinking about delivering and receiving feedback, I think is both a skill to do that and also a practice, and
yes.
requires sort of a constant thinking and learning, and learning as well, like goes through all parts of publishing, as we each learn different ways to do things, new ways to think about things, guidance along the road from people who have done or thought about those things before. So thank you both very much. Thank you all for being here this evening. There'll be a copy of the recording. All of the links I shared are on MWA's website. So definitely come to the website and check everything out. Sign up for the next, for any of you writing short crime fiction, for the next gathering on October 15th. And I just shared Anne and Melissa's websites again in the chat to check out their work as well. If you haven't read it yet, you will have treats in store for you ahead. So thank you all very much.
Thanks,
Thank
Gal.
you.
Have a good
Enjoyed
day.
it.
Get to writing and come join our program if you haven't. Do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.